the game Saturday. Okay. I'll tell you what, this game. Hey, by the way, Zander said Eagles by 20. We're kidding. Okay? You don't have to worry about it. Eagles by 20. What do you think? I got to say this. I sent a text message to Mark Holmes. He didn't want to come on. He didn't want to come on because you know why? He didn't. I think Philly beat him and beat him up too bad. I go, Mark, would you like to come on? Because there's some news, Deion Sanders and all that, Cowboys. So let's bring in Philly.500 now. I appreciate it.
They used to call me the babyface assassin. What's happening?
Hey, man.
What's happening?
I think you beat your boy Mark Holmes up, man. I sent a invitation to him for him to appear on the program, but he never responded back. And I think, I think he's taking his beating well from you. I saw some sort of Eagle gear on him too.Maybe he had lost a bet to you or something. I don't know. I mean,
he's losing it.
He's losing it.
Listen, this guy texted me like 11 o'clock at night. Would you like some soup? I'm like, no. And he's like, I have Jason Kelsey soup. I'm like, I don't want it. And for 3 days, this guy had a fit until I gave him my address to send me soup. I don't know what's wrong with him. He has lost his mind. And to not come on with all the Cowboys news that's happening, how could you not come on? I mean, that's a great conversation to have about the coaching there, And I wanted to tell Mark, I wanted to say to him, Mark, that's how you beat Green Bay in the playoffs, just so you know.
Yeah, he did. Hey, I don't think I forgot that, man. He didn't want any of that. That you guys ended up taking that team apart at the very end. Hey, I don't know, man, about you, but I used to watch that old TV series MASH. I thought I saw a rerun being played on Sunday with all the bodies being carted out there. They beat them up, didn't they?
They did. They did. They did. That's what I like about this team, man. Like, I hear all year long, well, you're playing this team versus, they're playing this team this week. They're good against the run. It doesn't seem like it matters. They're just big and they wear you out in the course of a game. And I just think that they wear you down. I think they wore Green Bay down in the first game, and I think they wore them down in the second game.
Billy, I want you to make sure that you get your subscription to the Philadelphia Book of the Month Club that, you're going to be able to, join now, because I think you're probably going to be able to use it this weekend on Sunday too. Mm-hmm. And here's a cool thing. You guys all get together in game during the divisional round. You, Devontae, AJ, probably Nick too, because he don't have a job. So you guys can all sit around on Sunday with the Book of the Month Club. How do you feel about joining the Book of the Month Club?
Hey, the most important thing you said is when you're playing in the divisional round. So, right? So as long as we're playing, I'm all good with the book. Read. Let's read, baby. I'll start chapter 1. I don't care.
You don't have a problem with it?
No, because he's been doing it all year. Apparently, he's been doing this for a while. It wasn't because it wasn't something he just did because he was frustrated. He has apparently done this before. There's pictures of him doing it in previous games in which he's having a big game. So what do I care? If that's refocusing him for the next drive, I have no problem with it.
Okay. Hey, listen, all I know is this, is that guy, I don't care. And I said this morning here on the show. I went like this, Philly. I said, if you don't, people look at it and go, he had 1 catch for 10 yards. If you don't think that a defensive coordinator, whether he has 1 catch or 10 catches, is not accounting for that guy, especially in the run game, that guy, whether he's a decoy or they're actually throwing passes to him, you have to account for him. So no matter what his impact is, every time he steps on the field, you have to know where A.J. Brown is. You agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. But I have a question for you, just out of curiosity. Did you see the video clip of Vrabel talking about A.J. Brown and if New England would trade for him? And he was like, well, we'll see, Did you happen to see that online?
I didn't.
There's a clip of it, and he's talking about A.J. Brown trading for A.J. Brown. Like, isn't that tampering? Like,
Yes.
I want you to see that clip. I'm curious of what you think, because
He'll
I
be
think they're
fine.
totally tampering about A.J. Brown. And it's like, no, A.J. Brown, they're not trading A.J. Brown to the Patriots. I'm sorry.
Let me bring a point up that me and you can make the New England Patriots lose a draft pick. We're going to do this after the program. You remember when Tom Brady was talking? Remember when the Miami Dolphins were talking about having Tom Brady become the quarterback down in Miami? Well, what happened? They lost the draft pick, a first-round draft pick, because Brady was still under contract with the Buccaneers. The Patriots can be in big trouble if the brand new head football coach is talking about making a trade for
check that clip
Brown.
out.
I will.
I thought it was borderline tampering, to be quite honest with you. Yeah.
It absolutely is. Okay. I want to throw some of these questions at you here. And this is for Sunday. And I wrote these down. There's a couple things that I want to see for this week. Do you believe on Sunday the Rams are going to be better than what they were in week 12 when they gave up 37 points and 314 yards rushing?
No.
You think they're not going to make any adjustments whatsoever?
Oh,
why do you not?
I think they'll make adjustments. I think they'll come out early and try to do some things, that they saw on tape. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're getting steamrolled. All right. I think this weather, it's going to be cold. They're coming across the country. I think that this
on
is
a short work week too.
Yeah, on a short week, right? Because they played Monday night. Why they have Monday night playoff games to me is so stupid. But I don't think it matters. I think they're in big trouble because, listen, the passing game, if you look at all the games last week, passing numbers come down in the playoffs. They just do, especially when you're outside and it's cold. That passing game, that weather's going to affect the Rams passing game more than it's going to affect the Eagles passing game. And the biggest problem the Rams have is against the run with Barkley. You think those guys are going to want to hit Barkley in that cold weather? With an offensive line that we just talked about wears you down? I think the Rams are in big trouble.
How about Stafford here? In the last 8 games, he's got 13 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's clearly one of the best passers in the game still. He's got a big-time arm. Yeah. They've got a great coach and play calling and Sean McVay. Do you give them a puncher's shot with him?
Yeah, of course.
Or do you think that it's going to still, no matter what it is, because the Eagle defense has been playing so good? But let me add one last caveat. The loss of Nakobe Dean, do you think that also lessens the defense going against Matthew Stafford?
I think they have a puncher's shot because I think that when you get to the divisional round of playoffs, you gotta give the team in there that kind of respect. Yeah, they have a shot. If the Eagles turn the ball over 2-3 times, I'll say 3 times or more, I think they got a chance. Stafford is a good passer. Pakua Nakua, I think he's, both those receivers are good, but he gave us problems kind of last game. I don't know what Higbee, the tight end, I don't know what his story is injury-wise. So they have a chance, but to me, the Eagles really have to self-destruct, and maybe the weather is what they need. But I think that all fits the Eagles better. You know
what Philly? I think the Rams have to overachieve, and the Eagles have to underachieve.
Yeah,
for this thing to be a fourth quarter football game, because I just think the rosters and I said it earlier too. As much as I've been on Jalen Hurts on not being consistent in the passing game this year, one thing that's been consistent has been the O-line. And I keep saying this about Jalen. You got to show me, dude, that if you have to be called upon, that you're going to win a football game. And I make that comment. You don't have to show me with that O-line. The Rams have to show me. I'm not giving the Rams the benefit of the doubt is what I'm saying here. Mm-hmm. The Rams, I just don't believe their size matches up.
I agree. They're undersized. I really think the weather is a big factor.
It is.
I do. If the Rams beat the Eagles, it's not going to be because Stafford throws 350 yards. It's going to be because they were able to run the ball effectively and the Eagles had too many turnovers. To me, that's the only shot they got.
Will Jake Elliott be a factor in this game, or do you think special teams is really not going to be a factor in this? Because, again, if they take care of business, they take care of business, it shouldn't come down to this. But we've seen this guy. He's been helter-skelter all year long against Jake Elliott. Are you concerned about it?
I'm a little worried about Jake Elliott right now. I think there was the Eagles. It was the second quarter of that game. They were in field goal. I think it was like a 4th and 4 or something like that. But they were technically in field goal range. It was a long 50-yard or something like that, over 50 yards. But for Elliott and kicks that he's made before, he hits that. They did not send him out in the field. They were going to go for it on 4th down. Then Goddard went off sides or it was illegal motion, and then we ended up punting. But when they didn't let him kick the field goal there, that told me that they are worried about it too. That's what I took out of it.
I want to bring this to your attention, and you tell me if you think Hurts will be a factor. Because to me, if you're Chris Shula, you've got to make Jalen Hurts beat you. You cannot let Saquon Barkley beat you up like you did, because the Eagles are not going to beat you. They're going to beat you up if Barkley's going nuts. And I want to show you this. So in Jalen Hurts' wins, 131 yards passing, 2 touchdowns against the Packers. His other win, 49ers, 15-25, 121, no touchdowns. The Giants game, 16-24, 154. It averages right around 138 yards a game. So I say this to you. If Hurts is around 140, 50 yards passing, and Barkley's 175, isn't that the remedy that they've won 15 ball games with? Because to me, you don't really have to have – I say this. If you see him with 36 attempts, the Rams are in it for some reason. Why do anything high percentage-wise, Philly, when that's been the formula that has dominated football teams, right?
Yeah, right. And the way I look, I agree with you. I agree. If Hurts is right around there, I think that's exactly where we want. I think Hurts throws between 20 to 30 times a game. I think that's the right formula. And I would expect the Rams to come out and try to do everything they can to take advantage of or at least shut down the run. And the Eagles, they've got to do a better job of having plays to take advantage of that. I mean, they want to shut down Barkley. So why not do play action? Why not roll? That whole half, that offense struggled, Sills. But when Green Bay scored and then the Eagles had to go down and respond, it was a 3rd down play where they played action to Barkley going right, and they rolled Hurts out left, and they hit Devontae Smith on a huge game. Those kind of plays are there all day, but they don't do it, and I don't understand it. So they have to – the Eagles should know what the Rams are going to try to do with Barkley, and they should be able to take advantage of that. I think so.
How about this? You and me can look ahead. Obviously, the team can't. You got to take care of business in the 60 that's in front of you. But don't you think this is a great dress rehearsal for Detroit? Detroit likes to spread you around. They've got quality receivers. They've got a good back. Detroit's getting David Montgomery back. He had a full practice yesterday, so it looks like he's going for against Washington on Sunday for the Lions. And if you think about it too, they're not that giant over there on that side of the ball defensively, the Lions. They're active. They're fast. They've got a decent safety. They're really good back there. They're not awesome. But isn't this kind of like a precursor and a really good setup having a guy like Stafford? Because Goff spreads the ball around a lot like Matthew Stafford does. Yeah. So this is something here that could probably get you prepared for the following week if you're so fortunate enough to win, which we both think they are, to set you up for the NFC title game.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. I mean, you got to give Stafford respect. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So I do think it helps. Now, it's a little different animal when you have to go in that dome, and Detroit's going to play very fast up there. The weather slows you down a lot, So um, there's that factor. But no, I do think it's a great dress rehearsal. And the one thing we haven't talked about yet, but that defense is why this team, to me, has a real advantage. I think over every other team left in the playoffs.
So you don't think the loss of Dean is going to be
It
that
does.
much?
It hurts. You can't say it doesn't hurt, right? It does hurt. I think Dean turned out to be pretty good, Sills. He's a tone setter, and I think that you lose something there. But I still think they've got enough pieces to to hopefully mask that deficiency of losing him. Hopefully they give Trotter a chance. I would like to see Trotter get a shot over Burks, and I think this injury is going to be the biggest reason why the Eagles re-signed Zach Bond.
Absolutely. I was just going there. I mean, I hate to do this, man, but I mean, we brought it up earlier in the program too. I think now you're talking higher end money now too. You're talking $15 million. We're not talking about the 11, 12 that we were kind of hitting on, because now, and also I would also do this. I'm not talking about wasting a premium pick on the first 3 rounds, but I'm talking about, they're talking about him missing the first half of next year.
I know.
I may draft a linebacker in the 4th or 5th round just to hedge my bets for next year, just to make sure I'm okay. But I mean, do you really believe the Eagles are going to pony up and put $15 million on a 3-year contract for him now? Because now, again, I agree 100%. I think this moves the needle a little bit here now to making them have a priority where they have to give him top end money.
I think they're going to. Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be.
That means Sweat's gone.
Yeah, but I kind of thought Sweat was gone already.
Okay.
So I mean that was already. Yeah, I think Milton's gone. I think he's gone. I think Bond stays, and I think Becton is up in the air. I hope Becton stays, but we'll have to see. I trust what they do on the offensive line. That Keegan kid is supposed to be, really good.
I like him.
So they'll figure it out. But I hope they keep Becton. But I think, if you let Bond walk, then essentially you're starting half the season with 2 new linebackers. You're completely. And I like Trotter Jr. and he maybe is the answer. I think he can play. But I don't see. How do you let a guy like Bond go? It's Howie Roseman's one of his best finds ever. You don't let that go. You've got to sign him.
2 last ones for you. Okay. They've now moved on to the divisional round. Sirianni's contract is up at the end of 25. Are you giving him this offseason, and how much of a priority is it for you to give him a contract extension moving forward, where here's a guy who now has gone to the divisional round. He has gone to and won an NFC championship. And my God, if they end up winning a Super Bowl, wouldn't you say this? If they win a Super Bowl, he's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. He's won one of them as a coach. He's got one of the highest win percentages in NFL history. How don't you make him a gigantic offer and put him in the upper realm? Or do you think the Eagles look at it more as this is an organizational win? And it's that he's an interchangeable piece in this, because they have fired Super Bowl and Hall of Fame coaches in the past. I mean, how do you think they look at him, and what kind of respect do they have for him? Because again, that's not Kellen. That's Kellen's offense. Okay. I mean, how do you think they look at him?
I think they look at him like, we got a coach that wins a lot of games and is a really good coach. I really do. I don't think there's any way that they're going to not give him a contract extension. Like how quickly, I don't know. But especially if they lose this week, in my opinion, that's bad. Because you got to win this game. But they get to the NFC Championship game, I think he gets a contract extension quickly.
Wow. I mean, you got to really look at that and go like this. Okay, a contract extension for Nick Sirianni, and you got people, I mean, looking at him and saying
I
this.
know.
Is it okay? Now let me go to Kellen Moore. Here's the last one for you. So I look at Kellen Moore and say this. This is what people say, and I hear you say it too. Well, Jalen wins. Well, Kellen Moore is part of that 15-3 too. He's part of that. The passing game was not a factor this year. I'm not saying Jalen wasn't a factor in the run game. He was. But what they did was they went and did this. And let's be candid here. How he got lucky, man. And I'll tell you why he got lucky. You really think he built that football team with the money he spent, with the least amount of money, with Barkley? Barkley's the cheapest guy in the huddle, and he's the most essential part of the huddle, that he is the most and biggest part of why they're 15 wins is because of that run game. We know this. It ain't the passing game. You're spending $51 million on the wideouts. You're spending $15 million on the tight end. You're spending 50 on the quarterback. You didn't build this team to look like this. You built this team to be a passing offense. Look at how you spent your money. Over half of the money of the salary cap is tied up in 5 players. So you didn't build this thing to look like this. Barkley was the guy that changed the narrative. So my question would be, how do you look at Kellen Moore? I mean, Kellen Moore won 15 ball games. His job's to win games, Philly, not to make Jalen Hurts look good. How do you look at him? Do you retain him?
Yeah. You know, I'll be honest. Like, if you look at like last week's game and you look at the first half of that game and how inept that offense was, I thought that was a lot because of him and because of the play calls that they had. So there are times I kind of look at Kellen Moore like, you know, I don't know that I'm like overly like impressed with his play designs and things like that, you know, but all I can say is the Eagles do not need another offensive coordinator change. You know, I need stability there. So I retain him. Yeah. If somebody doesn't offer him a head coaching job, I hope that he comes back. I need stability there. And
but if he were to get a job, you'd be okay. You'd be like this. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I would be like, okay, well, good luck, you know, but I think we'll be all right. I mean, we got Saquon Barkley, we got those receivers, we got the offensive line, we got Hurts. I think we'll be fine. But let's find a coach that you know can use and maximize Hurts and that offense, because I think a lot of the issues are the play calling and the play design.
We've been saying this for 4 years with that pass, or actually we've been saying it for 2 years now with the passing game, that it's the coordinator's fault.
Yeah, but I mean, there are things. No, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, we said it with Nick when he was 2-5. We said it with Brian. Now we're saying it with
But
Kellen.
see, and that's where I don't know. Sometimes I wonder: is this Kellen Moore completely, or is Nick involved in it to a certain level?
Why can't you say it's Jalen too?
Well, I can. I mean, I don't think Jalen played good in the first half. I don't. I didn't think he played great. But, you know, I don't think they helped him either. You know, what I like about Jalen, and I say this all the time, when you needed a drive, when you needed him to go out and do something, he goes down the field and scores. Green Bay scores, puts points on the board, right? The Eagles hadn't done anything offensively. They couldn't even get a first down. Green Bay's closing in, all the momentum. All of a sudden, Jalen Hurts, being the winner that he is, goes out there and finds a way to get down the field and score. That, to me, is very important. As the game gets harder and harder and the pressure grows, it seems like he always seems to have his best moments then. That's what I like about Jalen Hurts. But there are things in that passing game that I didn't like in the first half, and some of it was Jalen Hurts' fault. I don't think he was perfect, but they don't do anything to help him. Why do you take Barkley out on third downs? Like, it's 3rd and 4, and you're taking the best offensive weapon off the field for Gainwell. Do you think that helps the defense or hurts the defense? Doesn't make any sense. Why not run a screen pass? Why are we like the last team in screen passes? Like, I don't think some of the play calls and the play designs, sometimes I don't think they help Hurts, and it hurts them. It's not the only reason why, but it's one of the factors, in my opinion.
Finally, Barkley is approaching 400 plus touches.
Right.
I mean, dude, this guy's never had more than 293. He's now approaching 400 touches. I mean, do you think they're doing a little bit of managing this thing here a little too? Because, I mean, this is a lot of carries and a lot of touches and a lot of responsibility. And he still looks fresh out there, but the last couple of weeks he's been banged up. I mean, wouldn't you agree that, I mean, they're kind of managing him on the fly a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I got to say this real quick. Somebody in the chat just said Gainwell's a better pass blocker. That is the most ridiculous thing ever. He stinks at pass blocking. He's not even close to Barkley at pass blocking.
He does.
But in terms of carries, yeah, I think that's why they pretty much rest Barkley all week at practice. Yeah. I think they give him the carries and then they light his load during practice, and that's how they're trying to play it and manage it. I think that it affects you more so next year. I think you're going to have to get yourself maybe another running back. I think you need to get a three-headed monster. I think that's where it's going to affect you more than any time is next year.
It's a great take, and I want to sink this in on you. Do you think that this style of play is attainable and sustainable, that you can keep playing like this and give him another 400 carries next year?
Maybe not 400 carries, but I think you can give him 300 carries, and maybe you get an extra, another back who's better than Gainwell, then, can take, maybe 100 carries. I do think this is sustainable. I think this is playoff football.
Well, then why do I need AJ? Then why do I need AJ and Devontae if I'm going to go with this style of play?
Well, because if you one, they're very, very good. If you sit there and personally, I don't care about the money. I don't pay these guys. I don't care about the money. But if you take these guys off the field, then then it's going to be the New York Giants football. He didn't have 1,000-yard. He didn't have a receiver after Beckham's first year. He left. He didn't have a receiver on that team have over 700 yards the rest of his time there. So why do I want to go with that? I still want the threat of those guys, and I still think Hurts. I still think Hurts can throw. I know you don't think so, but I think when he needs to throw, he can throw. I go to that Pittsburgh game. We're going to find out, right? I guess next year. But to me, the style the Eagles play is built for the playoffs. Look at all the passing numbers in the playoffs round one. Did anybody throw for 300 yards? I don't think so.
No.
So, like the passing always comes down in the playoffs. The running game always kicks up. This team is built for that. That's why the cold weather and stuff. We're not talking. It doesn't hurt the Eagles. That hurts the Rams.
So you don't want to see any Golden Tates on the Eagles. I got it. I'm with you here. Hey, finally, score. Give me a score.
34-13.
Oh, man. 20 plus. You're like Zander. You got a 20 plus win here. You don't see it, right?
Well, no, I see a destruction of Matthew Stafford. I think the passing is going to be hard for him. I think it's going to be hard to come by, especially with that weather. And I think the Eagles will do what they do. They're going to wear you out. And I think they'll have a lead. Maybe it's 24-13 or 20-13 going into fourth. And then they're just going to tire that team out. And that's it. That's all she wrote.
Are you excited about Deion Sanders being the next head football coach?
Oh, I'm praying. I'm praying. Please let that happen. The amount of egos there. If Jerry Jones had problems with Jimmy Johnson, what do you think he's going to do with Deion? Oh, it's great. I would love it.
Oh, my God.
And here's the other thing, though. I don't, he goes, his kids play high school football. He follows them. College football.
He went to Arkansas.
Now he wants to coach. If I'm his kids, the last guy I want coaching me is my dad. Like, you got to go stand on your 2 feet. Otherwise, you're always going to be looked at as like, my dad had to carry me over. So to me, if I'm one of his kids, I hope he goes to Dallas. That's what I think.
Hey, if I'm his kid, you're damn right I hope he goes to Dallas, because the rest of those other kids outside of Shador, they are not pro players. And the only way they're going to get a job is if my daddy get me another scholarship with the Dallas Cowboys.
Do you think that if he went to Dallas, he would force the Cowboys to get rid of Dak and get his son?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think
I would love that.
Well, here, I said this about the Cowboys.
Hilarious.
This is what I said about the Cowboys. I don't really think it matters who the coach is, because you have Dak. Dak Prescott has proven to you right now that he is probably between 10 to 15 in quarterbacks, and that's on a good year that he's 10. Most of the time he's between 12, 15, 16, somewhere in the league like that. And he's not showing you in any time where he can get you even to a divisional round. He can't even get you out of the wild card round. Shit, I see bums getting people out of the wild card rounds. I mean, Baker Mayfield can get you out of the wild card round. I mean, I just don't. I mean, and Baker Mayfield's got a lesser talented roster than what the Cowboys do. So I don't really think it matters who the coach is, because as long as Dak's in the building, you're not going to win. I mean, Dak is Kirk Cousins 2.0.
I know. I know. It's crazy.
I mean,
that would be so interesting. From an Eagles fan perspective, I would.
By the way, I think Shador Sanders is overrated.
Yeah, he might be. He might be. But I think the whole thing where he wants to go follow son and coach his son. I think for a man, that you don't want that. You don't want that.
I don't want my first head coaching job to be relied on my kid having to carry the team. I want to be able to go into a place and hire my own guy, and I don't want to be obligated to coach my kid. That's not what I would want to do, to coach my kid, and that determines my success, because that kid, in my opinion, is not good enough to play in the NFL. I think that kid's got Jamarcus Russell all over him.
Oh boy, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I do.
I think the kid from Miami is a little overrated. So, I mean, the Cam Ward, yeah, I do. I think the kid's a little overrated. I think he holds the ball too much. I kind of
like him. I kind of like him. Yeah,
probably a little more. I like him more than Sanders, I'll tell you that, because he's calm in the pocket. But to me, I mean, I see Jamarcus Russell. The problem I had with Sanders is that watch his games. You know what he did so that he could have a higher completion percentage? Instead of throwing it away, he would rather take the sacks. And you know why that is? His dad's telling him you're paid on stats. You're not paid on wins. So he had a higher completion percentage. Instead of just throwing it away, he would rather take the minus yardage. And you want to hear something even more so to Sanders? Not one time did the Colorado Buffaloes beat a top 20 team that finished the season ranked in the top 25. They never beat anybody. Somebody said TCU. Well, TCU didn't finish in the top 25 that year. They were like 6th or 7th, and then they fell out of the top 25. They never beat a legitimate team in any way in the 2 years that they were up there. So, fuck, if you can't beat anybody, dude, why in the world would I sign you?
Right. Man, doesn't it sound like they totally fit the Cowboys, though?
Oh, yeah. No, it's
perfect organization.
It's perfect drama.
It is. I need it. I want to. I'll have so much material on Mark for the next 4 years. It'll be great.
Absolutely, Philly. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, my man.
Can't wait for
Appreciate
this weekend. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for
having me on.
You bet, man.
Thank you.
Philly.500. Make sure you check his great show out and his channel out. Guy does a great job. We so appreciate him doing that each and every single time. We are going to catch up with our friend Mark Trestman. Hopefully the Chargers didn't get in the way of this, because we had to go through the Chargers at the very end here. So hopefully we end up doing that. Yeah. Hey, by the way, real quick, I don't see Shador Sanders as a high-profile quarterback. Like when I watch